Hey guys, welcome back to yet another episode of Market Structure Analysis with me, James Pakion, and this is Pakion FX. Guys, it's been exactly 1 month since I last posted my Market Structure Analysis video, episode 7. This is episode 8. Welcome back again. I have been totally busy doing other things, but I am glad that I have found another opportunity to be able to make one of these videos, so let's get straight into it. I guess the last time I remember we made this video, we were around this area right here. We were looking at this formation of this particular candlestick formation here called the head and shoulder. So we identified the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder, and we were actually looking at how the market was going to react around this area. So we actually noticed a confluence here between the structure, which is the head, the right shoulder, and this particular trend line, which actually marked the end of a particular ascending channel. We finally broke off from this ascending channel, this particular trend line. As you can see, we broke below it and we retested it, and since then we've actually been dealing with market structure which has ideally been below this particular trend line. So as we can see right now, we still are continuing with the movement. We haven't really finished forming this particular formation, but we just have to check how the market will be doing over the next few weeks or days. So let's just zoom down to the daily level so that I can show you what I have been seeing in the market. So once the market made this final movement down here to the downwards, it actually formed the last particular place right here. So as you guys know, I always trade Fibonacci's. Fibonacci's is how I want, or rather I identify places where I can be able to take particular trades. So as you can see right here, I actually pulled out my Fibonacci's and I drew them around this area. Let me just draw them again so that you can see where I actually derived them. As you can see here, we have a higher high and a higher low right here. So let's just pull our Fibonacci tool and draw that particular structure. So we always make sure it corresponds to the highest high. So as you can see here, I'm making sure that I actually place my first level nearest to that particular higher high, drag it all the way down to the lowest low. So you make sure that this particular level corresponds with the lowest low, and this particular level here, level 1, corresponds with the highest high. And then Fibonacci is actually going to mark out these levels for you. So for me, I have selected level 0.236, 0.382, 0.5, 0.618, and 0.786. So let's just see how the market has been behaving around this particular Fibonacci areas. So as you can see, we had our first movement to the downwards here. That's why we actually drew the last level on our Fibonacci. Let me just try and level it out. Perfect. So as you can see here, the market moved up. It retested around this area, failed to break out, went back below and retested this particular 0.236. So this would actually been a very good point to enter another trade, that is to scale in. Once we notice a breakout, normally we usually wait for a retest. That's how we use that to confirm what direction of the trade we are supposed to go with. So normally what I say is, if the currency pair failed to break below a particular level, then it is very safe for you to trade in between the level that you're in and the level that's next. So as you can see here, we had a wonderful opportunity to take a trade between this level 0.236 and 0.382, which will actually have given you a couple of let's see how many pips. Yeah, that will have yielded you around 55 to 56 pips, which is a very good trade in my opinion. And the risk will actually been very little. So if the risk would have been all the way down to this place, let's just see how many pips that would have been. So if we drew if our structure was just below this particular week, then we see we could have been risking around 9 pips or 10 pips. So 10 pips for 55 pips is almost 1:5. That's a very, very good trade. And yeah, so once we retested this area, we moved up to the side, to the upside. As you can see, we broke above level 0.382. The currency pair had actually been moving around this area. Let's just go down to the 4-hour level. I want to show you guys what was happening in between this particular area. So what I noticed is there was a particular form of range that was forming here. So as you can see, the currency pair actually started to range in between this particular area for quite a while, but we had noticed that there were some sort of candlestick pattern here. Normally when you find this candlestick pattern, it is usually a continuation. So we have an upward movement, and then we have some sort of consolidation to the downwards slightly, which kind of gives us a descending channel, but then it breaks out and then it continues to move upwards. So this was actually another very good place to enter a trade. Ideally, once it broke out of this particular descending channel, then ideally would have taken a trade from here all the way to this particular level, which is level 0.5, if I'm not wrong. Yes, 0.5. So as you can see, the currency pair actually moved around this area for quite a bit. It ranged here for say 1-2 days before it actually broke out of level 0.5 rather, which normally I usually call the golden zone. So between 0.5 and 0.618. Normally I try not to trade these levels because they're usually very volatile, so I just let it go for a while. I was just looking at how the currency pair was going to behave around 0.618, and as you can see, it managed to break out, retest, which was actually not very clear, so I never took any trades here, and I just let the currency pair move upwards. I was hoping it was going to reach 0.786, but unfortunately it never got to reach to this particular point, 0.786. So as you can see, the currency pair actually reacted and started moving downwards. Yesterday we actually noticed, or rather the day before, we noticed a huge movement to the downwards, and this was some form of liquidation. I'm not sure what about, but I just checked the news and see maybe there was a fundamental news that were announced around this place that actually managed to cause the currency pair to react in this particular way. But I want to show you guys something. As you can see here, we are actually forming an upward ascending form of channel. As you can see here, I took out my trend lines, I drew them parallel to each other, and as you can see here, the currency pair has been moving very well in between this particular ascending channel. So once I saw the formation of this, do you see this? Let me just show you an area of confluence here, an area that we actually use to identify when to take a buy position. So as you can see, this particular area here, it's a confluence between this trend line and this particular level right here, the level of Fibonacci 0.382. And once if we saw this candlestick formation on the daily time frame, then we knew absolutely there's no way this currency pair was going to break below this particular trend line. It will absolutely move up. So we just waited for the currency pair to confirm direction of the market, and as you can see, it definitely shot up from yesterday's lowest low by corresponding to this particular trend line and also respecting this Fibonacci level 0.382. So the currency pair has actually been moving up. It went broke above this. I missed this opportunity because I was waiting for a retest at this particular Fibonacci level, but unfortunately it never came. As you can see, there's no really any clear formation of a let's see what it says on the 15-minute time frame. Yeah, as you can see, there isn't really any particular retest that happened around this area. So I just stayed out of the trade because I really didn't want to risk. Normally, I don't like to enter the trade in between these particular places. I like to enter the trade right at the Fibonacci level so that I can maximize my pip count all the way to the next Fibonacci level. But as you can see, the market sometimes plays games, so we just let it go. But here is where I found my other opportunity. So what I knew was once we had a breakout of level 0. I'm guessing this is 6.18 if I'm not wrong. Yes. Once we had a breakout right here, you see this? This is a breakout that we had. So once we had a breakout of level 0.618, the only thing I was waiting for was a retest to this particular level, and then only then I will trade in between level 0.618 and level 0.718. let's see, it's level 0.786. So literally just trading in between two Fibonacci levels, and here I was anticipating pip count of about 64 pips, which normally isn't the typical movement of GBP USD in one day, but let's just see how it's going to go. So as you can see, I've already marked out my zone here. I already know what's going on. I already know. As you can see, the currency pair has actually behaved very well. So it broke out, it retested, it has failed to break below level 0.618. So I am expecting this currency pair to continue moving. As you can see, we're already in a trade. So once it moves, we're just anticipating that it's probably going to face some resistance around this area, which is just a line that I drew, line of interest, where the currency pair has retested a couple of times. So I am just waiting to see how it's going to react, but probably we'll have a movement such as this one, probably find some resistance here, but eventually manage to break out, probably retest or not, continue to move upwards to this particular level. So that's what I am watching for GBP USD today. Let's just see whether there are any economic news, although I really highly doubt whether there is any economic news for today. Today is Friday, so we have a balance of trade at 9 a.m. so we'll just check. Right now currently it's 7:15 a.m. so in the next maybe 1 hour 45 minutes we should be witnessing some movement around this area. So let's just wait and see whether our currency pair is going to actually respect our analysis and continue to move upwards, or will finally break down below level 6.18 and probably move even lower to level 0.5. But if it does that again, always know trade in between these particular trend lines. So just draw your, probably if it's going to make the highest high as this area, and we probably will be trading towards the lower side, which is price level 1.3793. Yeah, so let's just wait for those particular balance of trade news, which will actually affect GB, which is the Great British pound. So yeah, and currently we're trading GBP USD, so we're expecting some reaction around this area. So let's just wait for 9 a.m. see what it's going to do, and then we will identify which particular direction that we are going to be trading. So thank you for tuning in again to Market Structure Analysis episode 8, and I will see you guys in the next one. In case you have any questions, be sure to drop them down in the comments box, and I will be waiting to answer. Also, if you're in our free Telegram group, always post whatever questions or concerns that you have, and I will be there to answer your questions. So keep it locked here at Pacquiao FX, and I will see you guys in the next one.